Good morning, Warriors. I'm looking for my singers, and I don't see any, so I'm getting a little nervous, so I'll probably draw this out a little bit so we get some singers here. Please join me in the pledge to the Bible. I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide its words in my heart, that I might not sin against God. Please join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, good. Miss Domajo's here. Okay. We have been working through the virtue of courage, and we've talked about that, and all the virtues like prudence, all those things are things that we are thinking about, but courage is the actual action of doing it. It's the bravery to do the right thing. And so all the virtues need courage. So you can be thinking that this is the right thing to do or believe this is the right thing to do, but if you don't do it, then it really is that's an issue. Courage is the action of actually doing it. One of the greatest stories of courage in the Bible is the story of Esther. It should be somewhat a familiar story, but we don't really talk about her as much as we really should. She was brought into the king's palace, and she was a Jew, and she was serving in the king of a non-Jew, a Persian king. And there was an evil, wicked person named Haman, who his whole life was bent on destroying the Jewish nation. And he came up with this horrible plot. And Esther found out about it. But in those days, in order to come talk to the king had to invite you. And if you weren't on the invitation list and you tried to come and talk to the king, you would actually be killed. So it was a very, very big deal to come to the king and to speak to the king. So she found out this horrible plot that was going to happen, but she needed to talk to the king, but she wasn't invited. So in a great exchange that she has is, and this will be our sound off for today. So I'll say, Esther said, and you'll say, if I perish, I perish. So if I perish, I perish. So let's try it. Esther said, if I perish, I perish. What does the word perish mean? Valor, what does perish mean? Yeah, die, right? So she knew that if she went forward and the king did not accept her or invite her, she would die for this. So she trusted the Lord and showed incredible courage and stood before the king. Well, we know the story that he lowered his scepter to her, which means you're invited. And she came and told him with great courage what was going on. And Haman got his just reward for being a wicked and evil man. So Esther is a beautiful story of courage and what it takes to do the right thing. And even if it meant perishing in her story, she was still willing to do the right thing. So we have shown great courage for those of you that have done speech meet. So I want to congratulate you. I know that's a very difficult thing. So we also talked about how courage is when you even small acts of courage, God rewards you with more courage, and you build on one thing after the other. So being courageous isn't just a one-time thing. As you show courage, God blesses you with even more courage to do even greater and more wonderful things. So continue to show courage, continue to show bravery, even if no one's watching, even if you don't think anyone is noticing, because God will reward you with even more and more courage. We are singing our hymn of the month. I'll invite Miss Domajo up here.
The light of the world is Jesus.
So our sign off today is I'll say, Esther said. You say, if I perish, I perish. Esther said. If I perish, I perish. So with the courage that we see in Esther, let us go forward and be courageous for the Lord. The Lord be with you.